it is true what they say about Indiana high school basketball. It is a religion. And high school basketball in general is just very, very special to the people in Indiana. Well, it becomes even more special when you're able to coach it. But when you can coach at your alma mater, it just doesn't get a whole lot better than that, people. Today, we got Sherron Wilkerson, head coach at Jeffersonville High School in Indiana. It's his alma mater. He's a former 1993 state champion. This is Big B Sports Talk. All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Big B Sports Talk. This is your man, Brian Hanley. Today, we got Sherron Wilkerson, head coach of Jeffersonville High School. Sherron, how is it going, my guy?
How you doing, my man? It's good to see you, Hanley. Good to see you.
I am doing all right, man. Doing all right. So, man, a lot of excitement going on right now with the Jeffersonville basketball program. Coming off a big sectional win last weekend. Tell everybody first off, besides we'll get into the postseason stuff, let's kind of get people familiar on how your all season went up until the postseason started.
So we entered the season at I think we was 14-7 entering the sectional, I believe 15-7. And then obviously we won the 3 games in the sectional to give us the sectional championship. But as you know, we talked earlier on our previous podcast, Brian, that man, our schedule in the month of December and January was really difficult.
Right.
And we did that intentionally to prepare us, hopefully to make a deep tournament run. So last year, man, was as you know, we got beat the first round of the sectional, and I told our staff, man, I said we gotta make sure that our guys mature, and the only way that I knew how to make them mature was to put them through the fire. And so far, man, it's paid dividends for us.
Well, that's kind of the approach that you see a lot of college coaches taking that approach. And I think we talked about that previously, is like play anybody, anywhere, anytime, and only thing that it's going to do is make us better. That's the only thing that's going to happen from doing that. And you've taken that approach, and watching the kids, as much as I get to see, and a lot of people around the state have been watching, is that Jeff got better, Shiron. Jeff got better from the first game when you guys played Cathedral up until this past weekend. The one thing that they can't say is Jeff didn't get better, because they did.
I mean, Hanley, you're right, but I attribute that obviously to the players and their maturity. And then the second thing that I attributed that to, actually, is 3 things. My assistant coaches have been wonderful. I mean, man, it's been a breath of fresh air to see those guys be able to teach our kids what we're trying to get through as far as an identity from a program perspective. And then the third thing that I think really has helped us in our progression and our maturity has been the professionals in the building. Right. I mean, man, as basketball coaches, man, we really only get to see the kids maybe 3 hours a day. Right. And by the time we watch film, by the time we have practice, by the time we end practice, I say our good nights. I mean, it ends up being about 3 hours. Man, but during the day is the time that, man, that you're able to see kids mature and turn into students, which obviously makes them better student athletes. Man, and that's been a huge part in our success.
Absolutely. No program, especially a high school program, is going to be successful without support from the support staff, from principal, athletic director, booster club, students. Can't leave out students. Got to have the support from everybody, and also fans. The community. Sometimes things get a little sideways here and there, but you know what? Community, they want to win. They want to have fun. They want to win. So that kind of brings me to my next question is, you got a kind of a core group there. What did it mean? I've heard you talk about it a couple of times, and I just wanted to ask you myself, what did it mean to win? Now, Jeffersonville's won 40 sectionals, but they hadn't won one the last time they had won was 2019, excuse me. So what did it mean to actually get back in the winning ways in the postseason for Jeff and winning a sectional?
Brian, I look at it from 2 perspectives. Number one, the first perspective that I look at it from is an overall program perspective. Man, obviously Jeffersonville has a lot of tradition, specifically being a former player, man. It's you have a tremendous amount of care for your program, tremendous
Right.
amount of love, and you want to see your program be successful. But I think from the second perspective, which is a personal perspective, as a new coach coming into a program that has such huge tradition, I mean, man, I challenge these guys in ways that they had not been used to being challenged. And I think sometimes, Brian, as a leader, when you do that, if you don't get the desired results, man, you lose people. And that
Correct.
was the thing that was probably at the top of the list of my concerns. I mean, man, we have pushed, we have pushed, we have pushed. I mean, man, and then after you push, if you don't accomplish that goal, you run a risk, man, of being able to lose your players. And for me, I told our assistant coaches, man, that from a program perspective and an identity perspective and a culture perspective, it was imperative that we won that sectional.
Yeah.
Because I really felt that if we didn't win the sectional, it would have been that much harder to convince our guys to keep working the way that they have.
Absolutely. And I totally understand. Being a former high school player myself is like you go through all the rigors and the roars and the practicing and the yelling and the blood, sweat, and the tears. I know that's kind of cliche-ish, but it's the truth. But then if you don't get to see any reward at the end of that, just like you said, it just makes it difficult. So I think everybody was glad to see you be able to accomplish what you are accomplished. Now, having said that, it's been a little bit since they've won. Jeffersonville has won a sectional and really seen a ton of success in the tournament per se with the group of guys that you currently have. It's not the same way when you grew up. You and I both grew up wanting to be exactly what Jeffersonville was and then going through it ourselves. Do the guys understand the tradition of Jeffersonville? I know I've come back a couple of times and I've teased them, here and there about how good we were. But do they really understand? Sometimes things get lost in translation. Do they understand kind of the tradition of Jeffersonville basketball?
Brian, that's a great question, man. And I will tell you, and it's something that we've talked about in depth, actually. I think a lot of people have to keep in perspective that these kids wasn't even alive when you and I were playing.
Right.
And so it's difficult, right, to expect them to understand and fully grasp what we did in 1993. I mean,
Right.
man, but I will say the thing that they have done. I mean, man, and guys such as yourself has been intricate in this. I mean, man, in having conversations with you, they have learned or they have become to understand what we accomplished in those days. And that's why one of the reasons that I have really asked you specifically to talk to these guys, because hearing it from the coach is one thing, but I think hearing it from former players that have a genuine interest and a genuine care about
Right.
the program, it resonates in a different way. And I think if you look at the college level, man, for me, the litmus test is at the college level and the high school level. I think they run parallel. The the players that come back, the former players that come back to the programs, that those programs are being ran the right way. I think
Sure.
it's in a testament to the leadership that's in place at the prospective programs, and it's something that we have really focused on here at Jeffersonville. I think that it's critical to our success currently to have former players such as yourself to come back who are icons to come back and share their experiences with our current players.
Yeah, I have a genuine interest. I want to see him win. I know I've told you it a million times. I am for Jeffersonville. I am Sherron Wilkerson's number one fan as much as I can be. I'm always going to be that. I just love. I love Jeffersonville athletics, but I love the basketball program. It's near and dear to my heart. So I love what you're doing with it. Got a lot of things going on that are great. Obviously, you got the regional coming up this weekend. Um, any advantages having already played Evansville Harrison once, or and then now they're a really, really good basketball team, clearly. Any advantages, or because it was so long ago that you actually played them, does all that kind of go out the window?
I will be honest with you, Brian. I'm not for sure that either team has an advantage. We're both playing on neutral court. We're both playing each other man at a time where both teams have tremendously improved. Uh, Evansville Harrison is in a position, man, where they are pretty much the dominant team in Southern Indiana as far as Evansville area is concerned. I think that we have established ourselves as a program to be recognized now as being able to contend on a state level in Southern Indiana on the east part of the state. So I think it's going to be a clash of two titans that is very well coached. And I think that at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who can guard and who can rebound the best.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time today, Sharon. I'm here in Texas. You know, I'm going to be rooting. I'm going to be screaming as loud as I possibly can. So I appreciate you taking the time, and good luck to you, my man.
Hey, Brian, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much, buddy.
No problem.